Hi guys, I hope you can hear me. My name's Heather and I am the Crafty Budgeter. You're going to see me doing a lot of mundane things such as folding laundry because I do have two toddlers and in theory I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I am an entrepreneur. I work side hustle after side hustle after side hustle, mostly based around crafting. My husband is a truck driver, hence the headset with the boom microphone. And I drive regularly, hours and hours and hours. We live 500 miles away from both of our families. So when we go to visit, it's an 8-hour trip each direction. It's 500 miles. As you can hear, I have two toddlers. I have a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. That's currently the 18-month-old. He is mad at his sister. Let's see why. Hey, what's wrong, babe? Hi guys, it's me again. I know. So, as I was saying, I have a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. So you will probably see and hear lots of them. But the reason I call myself the Crafty Budgeter is because of all the crafts that I do, and that's where my personal income comes from. But because of my husband's work, it's a high dollar budget. However, the expenses are also... I see that. Can you put it away, please? The expenses are also extremely high. So we have what you would consider actually a low income. Just because what's going out is quite literally the same as what's coming in. So you have to get creative with the money, and Rebecca, do not hit him. But a lot of the recordings I'm going to do are kind of like day in my life. Rebecca, here's your orange. Go sit down and eat, please. Here. Thank you. You're going to see a lot of stuff that's a day in my life. I'll record while I'm crafting. I'll do lives while we're running our budget. While I am cash stuffing. I'm an OG cash stuffer. I was cash stuffing way before it was cool. I turned 39 this year. These are my only two children. And when I was in my 20s, I got into financial trouble. And my grandma told me that cash is king. You can't get in trouble if you have cash, because you're not going to go into debt because you won't have any cash to go into debt by. So I started cash budgeting almost I started cash budgeting 15 years ago. At least 15 years ago, if not longer. And I just literally went to the dollar store and picked up a box of envelopes and a notebook, and I wrote down in the notebook my monthly expenses, my car payment, my car insurance, my rent, housing, anything like that, my part of utilities, what my average grocery bill was. And then when I got paid, I sat there and said, okay, this is how much I got paid. Well, I have to give this much to my car payment, and I have to give this much to my car insurance, and I have to give this much for rent and utilities. Well, this leaves me this much money for food and spending money. So I did that for years and years and years, and I got myself out of debt. For the first few months, all of my debt was already in bad debt, so it wasn't counting negatively against me, meaning actively. It was still counting negative against me because it was there. But some of it had already been charged off, so I wasn't even being, charged negatively about that. But for the first few months, I just concentrated on surviving. That was it. Because that's what I had to do. I had to survive. I had to live. I was single. I worked 40 hours a week as a manager of a corporate retail store, and I didn't get paid anything. I got paid barely minimum wage to carry keys to the store, to count money, to have all that power, to be able to lock the store up and everything like that. And I was barely surviving. So I started cash budgeting for myself again. That's what my grandma told me. And every paycheck, okay, I'm putting $50 in here for my car payment. I'm putting $50 here for my car insurance. I'm putting, luckily I was living with a family member. I moved into one of her bedrooms, me and my little dog, my beagle Augie. I don't have him anymore. He passed last year. Still, I miss him. He was 14. He had a good run. But I lived with her for a while. I lived with her for 4 years, and we helped each other out. I was able to help around the house enough and bring in enough staples. She wanted a specific brand of toilet paper, so she bought that brand of toilet paper. Well, I wanted a specific brand of paper towels, so I bought that brand of paper towels, and that's what we used in the house. And that's kind of how we did it. We'd go to Costco, and we'd get 2 rotisserie chickens a week, about 2 a week, and we'd eat 2 days on the first one, and then the second one we'd break it down, and it would be put into the stock pot, and we'd put the carcass of the first one in there, and we'd boil it down, and we'd have chicken noodle soup, we'd have chicken and rice, but 2 of us were able to eat for an entire week on about 50, maybe $75 if you add in like breakfast and that kind of thing. So, it was huge money saving for both of us. And that's how I ended up getting myself pretty much completely out of debt. Then I had a medical thing that came up, and I couldn't pay it. And I asked for financial assistance, and I got it, but it still was $4,000, and I could not pay it. There was no way, because I just wasn't making enough money. So it charged off, and I had to start over again, but that's okay. I got it done. I got out of it. So things you're going to see me doing are every day in the life of. You're going to see my house is a mess. You're going to see some days my house is spotless clean. Some days you're going to hear my kids screaming, fighting, because that's what kids do. Some days they're going to be nice and quiet. Some days I'll get real lucky and they'll both be down for a nap at the same time, and I can do this without the extra noise. Sometimes I'm going to get interrupted with phone calls because of my husband's business, I'm the office person. If they need anything or anything like that, it's me they call, which is fine. I don't mind. It helps him out because in his truck, he's not able to always answer the phone. But as I've been, going through my daily life here, we've only lived in this house a month, so that's life. That is life. That's what happens. But you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see me doing laundry. You're going to see me doing dishes. You're going to see me doing some of my crafting. But I listen to YouTube because it actually comes through on my headset. So I can listen with one ear, and then I can listen with the other ear what's going on in the house. So that's very helpful for me. Hey, Rebecca, he doesn't want to trade. No, he doesn't want to trade. He said no. So you're going to see a lot of that. But one thing I have noticed while I've been listening to all of the YouTube budgeters and that kind of thing is I keep seeing in the comment section something come up about commission sales or super low income. How do you start budgeting with that when you don't have any money? Here, Rebecca. Here. That's my 3-year-old. Eat around the seats. You know how to do it. You did a great job in the car. Do you need to go potty again? Okay. Eat your apple. But people have been... That's okay. It's not... See, there's nothing wrong with the scratch. See? Okay. Okay. You want pretzels? Yeah. Okay. Here, go, bud. That's what's on. I'm not changing it. So, you're going to see a lot of this stuff. But, as I was saying, what I've noticed is people are asking about super low income. How do you start budgeting when you don't have any money? How do you start saving when you don't have any money? You have your water right there. You've already had your juice today. Sorry, they get two glasses of juice because I don't want to run them up on sugar, even natural sugars. And then the other thing I've noticed is when I go to a bunch of these websites for the budgeters who do make and sell or do buy wholesale and then resell, is they end up doing so much customization that they don't have they just don't have time for some of their basic stock. And I thought, well, you know what? I have a vinyl cutter. I know how to use it. I use it a lot. I'm also a fabric person. I can make just about anything I see out of fabric. So I'm going to start making peekaboo envelopes. I'm going to start making monthly challenge envelopes, and I'm going to sell them in an A6 binder with 12 envelopes in it that say the month, and you get to pick the challenge you want to do and do your stuff in it. But that way you have something that works for every single year and so on and so forth. Because that's something I can do in my spare time, which there's no spare time. I just say, okay, this is the chores that I have to do today that I'm going to accomplish. And then once I'm done with that, if I have energy left, then I get to play with my craft stuff, or I'll make envelopes. I have a craft bazaar coming up here in 2 months, and I have things I have to get ready for that. So you'll be seeing me do some of that while I'm talking. Sometimes I will do some Q&As, that kind of thing. Send me your questions. I can do lives. I don't mind doing lives. I've done them on Facebook before. I'll do lives. I don't care. And we can, pop in and discuss. I don't care if there's only one of you. If I'm able to help one person, that makes me feel good. Go get your water. That makes it for me. I am a 3rd generation Girl Scout. My grandma was a Georgia Peach. I have a big heart. I love helping people. That's what I do. That's kind of my calling in life, is helping people. So that's something you'll see me doing, and that's something that you can do along with me. I'm hoping to post a couple videos a week, just day in the life. So send me your questions. I'm going to do another video now, and I will get it posted very quickly, about how to start. Basic. And I'll start there, and then we'll work on paper. And I have learned that Alabama is the state that runs It's the only state that I have found that runs federal minimum wage as their minimum wage. All the rest of them seem to be higher. So I thought, well, let's go off of that. We'll work off of Alabama just because it has the lowest minimum wage. It comparatively also has a nice low cost of living, etc. So I can show you how to go on there, and that means we're going to do it with a few $100s versus a few thousand a month. And you'll get to see me do some of mine. I will stuff envelopes. I have what I like to call a top-off budget, meaning I have some things that are extra-ish, but kind of a necessity, such as my husband and I each get $200 a month pocket money. And if we only end up spending, $100 of that pocket money, we're not going to get $200. We're only going to get $100 to top it back off to that $200. Eating out, entertainment, that kind of thing, it's all the same. Christopher? No. So those are top off things for me. But there are other things that, we didn't use the month's allotment of that, but it needs to be set aside because, like when my husband's truck breaks, you're not looking at $60 to $100. You're looking at $1,600 just to start with. So those ones aren't necessarily top-ups. They're builders. There are some things that, like my dog, my poor dog, he's a Basset Hound German Shepherd, and he has a lot of problems skeletally, muscularly. Excuse me. So he actually has insurance, and his insurance comes out every month. And instead of just taking that out of the bank because it's an auto deduct, I'm going to leave that much in the bank, and then I will stuff the rest of his cash. His cash gets used for things like his dog food, his vet visits, his medicine, because he takes a lot of medicine for a young dog. But that's the kind of thing that will keep, that's what his money will get used for is. And I don't top his up. He actually gets the set amount because he's accident prone, and he is 6 years old this year. He just turned 6, and I probably have $6,000 almost a year in him, just in emergency visits because he's a klutz. A couple years ago, he got the zoomies after breakfast one day, and he has Basset Hound legs, and he got the zoomies, and he shoved a stick up his nose, broke it off up there, and he was bleeding profusely from his nose. And I was doing one of my craft bazaars that I coordinate and run, and I had to leave and go take him to the vet because my husband had the kids. And turns out he got the stick stuck up his nose and broke it off up there, and that was like almost a $3,000 visit because they had to keep him, they had to sedate him, they had to go in and pull it out, then the antibiotics, and unfortunately the antibiotics weren't enough, or if we got antibiotics, whatever. I think he only got an antibiotic shot. It wasn't enough, and he ended up 18 months later with just a nasty sinus infection that took us 3 weeks with antibiotics and some testing to get it cleared up. He's finally cleared up, but that's Flash. He's that kind of klutz. He's that kind of dog. So because of that, I keep his money continually going. Heidi's our horse. She's a Norwegian fjord. If you don't know what that is, if you've ever seen the movie Frozen, the horses in there are actually a real horse with the 2-color manes that are kept short. They're called Norwegian fjords. Well, we have one. And she's, her board's a little high, but I keep her fund stocked because her board, I don't have to pay for hay. Well, right now she's at a different facility with my cousin back in our home state, and because I won't move her in the winter. I just won't risk her, and I won't risk anybody else driving her, me driving her. I just won't do that. So my cousin's still taking care of her over there. So I still have to pay for hay and grain and everything else for her. So hers is not a top off because it's a continual, because I'm going to have to buy her grain. I'm going to have to buy her supplements. I'm going to have to buy her, the things that she needs. No, you may not open that pin. I'm going to take it away. Don't worry. So, but that way you guys can see the kind of things that, work for us and how you have to do that to make those kinds of things work. And sometimes you do. Like I said, I went for a couple of months where I just... Are you stuck? Where I just focused on surviving, on living. And then once I had that down, we ended up, then I was able to start saving. And once I was able to start saving, I was able to end up starting paying off debt. So having been through that and done it the hard way with no money, I'm more than happy to share that knowledge and help you guys through that too. So I will catch you on the next one, and we'll keep going.